All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash, double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, Shalom Barakathum. And I want to speak about, the mindset of our enemy, okay, and the coming mindset that he's going to embrace in the days of evil which are near. Okay, I spoke about recently the mind of a soldier, okay, which us who have the high ground, who are standing stiffly for Yahweh Shai, the mindset that we should have. But part of the battle of being a soldier, which we know the weapons of our warfare, which I'll go to that. We are spiritual, okay, but part of understanding, part of being a soldier and having an understanding of, with the mindset that you should have, is understanding your enemy, okay? There's too many Jakes walking around thinking that this guy, he's a good guy, or there's some kind of hope in this MAGA movement. And I'm gonna show, I'll search it. I don't have it queued up, but I'll search it, that this guy is in a predicament where he's getting ready to wild out because he has no more cover, okay? So he's gonna lash out. Okay, so you got to be prepared and understand the mind of your enemy, man. But this is 2 Corinthians 10, verse 3. Okay, it says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh." All right. So where is our war? It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds." Okay. So that's where our war is. And you have to understand that there's a spiritual dichotomy going on between the house of Jacob and the house of Esau, okay? That we are mortal enemies. This is the foundation of the war. You can't get confused about terms like black and white, okay? Though that's low level, man. You got to study and get caught up, because we're at the end of this thing, all right? Even brothers that are decently new, you've been in this thing 6 months, you've been watching, you should not be confused by things about race and how races, are acknowledged through the Heavenly Father. You should know about Jacob and Esau. You should know that black, white, red, brown are not a thing. You should know genealogy and patrilineal descent, those kind of things, okay? Because this is the backdrop of what's happening in the war that we're in, okay? And what did the scriptures say about Esau, about these two nations? Okay. In Genesis 25 and 23, it says, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto her," speaking to Rebekah, "Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels." Okay. And those two men became patriarchs of good and evil, okay, righteousness and wickedness. And it's a redemption story, and it's a takedown story, and the same thing, and the same story, okay? The same script, I guess I should say. It says, "And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." And all of the controversies, the various empires rising into power, coming out, that's the context of all of it. It is Jacob and Esau, and the culmination of this, man. So this guy has hidden who he was for a reason, okay? That's how scarce of a ruler he is. He's afraid for anybody to even know who he is, just like a fugitive, okay? A fugitive might be a bad guy, he might be a tough guy, a gangster, but that same guy he's doing what? He's hiding, okay? Okay, he's putting on masks, he's changing his name, he's switching up, he's moving around, just like Esau is, okay? This guy's a criminal, okay? And just to further drive home the foundation of this war that we're in, okay? In case anybody was confused, the Most High wrote in Romans 9, okay? Salakia. I'll just go to it. Damn. Romans 9 and 13. Okay. Because we just read that in Genesis 25. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Okay. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? God forbid. Okay. So you can't get mad at the circumstances. This is what the Lord set up, man. Okay. That there will be a war, a battle. Okay. So this is the context of warfare. Okay. And you have to have that mind of a warrior, of a soldier on the spiritual plane, not the carnal one. Okay. So knowing your enemy is an extremely part of the battle. Now look at this. Job 20 and 22, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. When is he at the fullness of his sufficiency? Now in Genesis, it tells you that Esau will get the fatness of the earth. And Jacob would get the fatness of the earth. Okay. When did the Edomites get the fatness of the whole earth? Okay. It wasn't in the ancient Roman time. It's in today's time. Okay. When did any nation get the fatness of the whole earth? Okay. Only the Edomite empire of today, was known as the West, went in all 6 continents, really 7 continents if you include Antarctica, establishing themselves, planting flags, okay, changing names and languages and borders, okay, pushing their idolatry and indoctrination on them, supplanting their money and their resources. He's done that. He's done that everywhere, man. Only one nation has done this, okay. So so what does it mean when it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits? Who is this? Okay. It says that every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Okay. So when this guy gets in straits, it's going to be at the latter end when he's full. All right. That's when he's going to be in straits. Let me see. I'm going to just see what comes up. Al Jazeera usually reports pretty well. It says, why is MAGA angry with Trump, Pam Bondi over the Epstein files? Right-wing conspiracy theorists have raised questions about a new government memo and video about Epstein. Okay, now when you look at all of the bold things that they were claiming and running campaigns on, it sounded really good, didn't it? But now they're telling you there is nothing. Don't worry about it. Okay, and this is proven to be another fracture and a schism in the whole MAGA movement. Okay, it's a schism. What's a schism? Okay, because we're commanded to not operate with a schism. Okay. 1 Corinthians 12 and 29, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And that's not true. Elon Musk is flying off the rails. Okay. Talking about he's going to start a new party because Trump is on the Epstein list. And they were just buddy back in May. He was in there with his kid just back in May. Okay. In the White House. Okay, now all of a sudden they turned their this is the division the Lord promised, okay? And that's going to come with a change in behavior. You got to stop thinking these people at work won't replace you, man. As soon as they get AI popping and integrated, your ass is through, man. Most of these jobs, and mine included, these jobs are on the chopping block, man. They're not going to give a damn, okay? This guy is the devil, man, okay? It says in the article on Tuesday, United States President Donald Trump and U.S. Attorney Attorney General Pam Bondi evaded questions from reporters on a recent government review about the accused sex trafficker and convicted, offender, okay, Jeffrey Epstein, Okay, and this is huge. When they looked it up the other day, it was 2 million posts on Twitter talking about it. 2 million posts, not people, posts. So you got even more people that are scrolling and looking and making comments on it. Okay, so this is the number one topic right here. Now it seems small to some, but it's not small. Okay, or they're trying to make a small deal out of it, but it's not, because this is the proof that the wicked are allowed to flourish. That this whole idea of justice and fairness and truth, it was all BS. Okay, it was all BS. And now they're fighting. Okay, Steve Bannon is getting called out by Elon. Elon's calling out Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was calling for Elon to get deported. All right. 1 Corinthians 12:25 again, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one another. Okay. Why did the Lord command that? Because schisms in the body are detrimental, man. They will lead to the destruction of the body. You can't have things out of sync. You can't have body parts and organs doing their own thing. Okay. It's all got to work in unison. Okay. And our foundation is Yahushua. It says, verse 26, and whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. But see, MAGA don't move like that. See, the moment Elon Musk was a member, okay, but the moment he became expendable, they cut him off. And Trump was like, well, maybe we should deport him. Okay, we're not commanded to be like that. See, this is the wicked and how they get down, man. And when you look at how they treat themselves, how do you think they're gonna treat you when they get when they get squeezed? Huh? Sirach 14:5, it says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his good. So you can tell if a man don't take care of himself, if a man doesn't take care of his family, his own people, he has just no regard for, you know not to trust that guy, man. That should tell you right there, man. Okay? But going back to the point where he's in straits, okay? What kind of behavior is this going to lead to, okay? Revelation 12. And 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of Hamashiach Yahushua. In Isaiah 33, it tells us that in terms of salvation and strength, wisdom and knowledge will be thy stability of thy time and strength of our salvation. Okay, so this is that time that we're in. Okay, again, you gotta always remember, keep your footing, like in fighting or boxing, there's certain fundamentals, man. Okay, you don't learn how to swing before you learn how to move your feet and actually orient your body around the ring. I've been looking up some lessons on boxing because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get into it later this year. Okay, but there are fundamentals in this thing, and knowing what time it is and who's who, that's part of it. Okay, it says, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And accuser goes into the word categoreo, man. Categorizing people, okay? They're categorizing people as anti-S, okay? They're passing this legislation that allows them to classify you as an enemy combatant, okay? A hate group. See, that's how he does a lot of his damage, by getting the consent of the public to categorize things, okay? And then he don't have to demonize you. He can just demonize the category that you're in, and by default, it'll affect you. Okay? Accuser, categoreo is the word, okay? Categoreo, to accuse before a judge, make an accusation of an extrajudicial accusation, okay? So this is what's getting ready to happen, all right? And because there's a pressure on him. Okay, it says, and they overcame him by the, which I'll get that because his time is appointed. Okay, it says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Okay, and that's the soldier mentality. Okay, thought I put my goddamn do not disturb on. So that shit don't be working, man. Anyway, so that's the soldier mentality. You got to love not your life unto death, man. Okay, why do we have to not love our? Because our enemies are seeking to take our life, man. Okay, these people are weak. They're soft. They're emotional and they're violent. Okay, and that's a dangerous recipe to have in a weak, emotional man that's highly capable of violence. Okay, this is why Yahweh Shai is gonna have to return. Okay, he's like, this nigga's like King Joffrey off of Game of Thrones. Okay, you ever see that show Game of Thrones? You know who King Joffrey is. Okay, he's a young Edomite king. He's a young teenager, but he's soft, man. He's emotional. He's and he's violent. Okay, he'll get somebody put to death just for looking at him wrong. You know. It says, verse 12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Yeah, that's right. So this pressure that's on him is the straits that I'm alluding to. Okay. Leave this in Job. Yep. Job 14 and 4, it says, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Okay. And this is why you got to get out of this spirit of us and we. Okay. Because you can't save everybody. The Lord already said that some would not be saved and some would be saved. The Lord already carved out who the nations are, what the destiny is, and the fate of them is. Okay. So you can't get emotional. Okay. Wanting to save Edomite. These people are our enemies, and they can't undo it. We can't undo it. That's just what it is. Okay. Now, what side are you on? Okay. Because if you don't choose, the choice will be made for you. Okay. But verse 5, the main point, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Okay. And he's now being made known that his days are short. Okay. We believe they get lots of interaction with the chariots, with all their technology in the heavens and all the things they've been covering up. This guy knows, man. And these prophecies are just coming to pass. Okay. It says the number of his months are with thee, and thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Okay. So this guy doesn't have a choice. Okay. And that's going to come with danger. Okay. Just like we just read, having great wrath, because he knows he have but a short time. Okay. And remember, this guy is the same one we see in Psalms, 73? Yeah. Verse 3, it says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death. So it's talking about the wicked, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. But see, that is going away now. There's going to come a time where the Heavenly Father is going to put them in straits. Okay. And this ease, this politically correct demeanor that they have, that they walking around with, being all nice to everybody, that's all going to go away the moment they get squeezed, man. Okay. And it's really gone away already, because people are feeling it, man. People will self-segregate when all hell breaks loose. Okay. It says, verse 6, therefore pride compassed them about as a chain, and violence covered them as a garment. So this is the nature of this man. Okay. Read Habakkuk 2:5. You'll see this guy is not just gonna arrive to a conclusion on his own that he's destroying the earth. No, it's not in him to do that. Okay, so knowing your enemy is part of the battle. Okay, all right, and you have to ready your minds for what could come, man. Okay, Antiochus was a demon. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar, he was a demon. All right, Herod, he was a demon. Okay, and they put hands on many of the men of the Lord. Okay, so get out of that spirit that there's a savior, because the Lord is confounding the current power structure right before our very eyes, and they can't even hide it. Okay, there's so much information coming out about them from their own people. It's basically a fire hose at this point. Okay, so more reason to lock in. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachakwadash Shalom Kwam Yasharallah.